Good morning. We start today's discussion with the weather map. It's Friday, the 3rd of February, and this is the Arctic air mass that's coming into the northeast and central part of the country, but the coldest air is going to be in eastern Canada and New England on the right side of this high pressure. Some of this is bridging across the front and will make it to the southeast, but temperature is only about 5 degrees below normal, for example, in Atlanta, where they're 30 degrees below normal up here, which is pretty cold. This morning, temperatures have dropped to the single digits throughout this whole area, below zero, obviously, and some others, 13 below in northern New York, 2 below, 2 below. If we get to Canada, we have 20 below, 31 below up here, and that's the air that's still moving in. The Great Lakes keeps things a little warmer, if you want to call it warm, south of the lake, and Lake Ontario typically does not freeze in the winter because it's a very deep lake. But this cold air is rushing eastward. Here we are in western Mass, 30 knot winds, 15 degrees. There's wind chill advisories throughout this whole area. Here's the center of the high. There's the Arctic front. There's the regular front south of it, Florida, where everybody should be going if they want to be comfortable. It's 70s. Actually, dew points are high enough to be uncomfortable. Then you have chilly air in here, and then you have downright cold air north of that front. Not a whole lot on radar. A few snow showers in this Arctic air, and here's the rain moving eastward from that front that was draped across the south. A little bit of heavy weather here just near south of Jacksonville offshore. Here is the satellite image, and pretty much paints the same picture. There's the clouds from the rain, sunny in South Florida, and snow showers up in this region. You can see these little bands of snow showers coming off the lakes. Here is the temperature anomaly chart, and these pinks are about 20 to 30 degrees below normal. Actual temperatures, contours at least, shows 25 below, and there are spots where it's colder than that in the valleys. In northern Maine, northern New York, Vermont, New Hampshire. The 0 degree line on this map runs south of Boston, north of New York, then runs over near Buffalo and Rochester area. There's the effect of the lakes. You can see the isotherms bending in this region. The 10 degree line reaches down into West Virginia and goes through near New York, Long Island, and up near Erie, Pennsylvania, and westward. But as you can see, as you go further south, it's not that bad. It's 25 degrees for lows in North Carolina, and I think the low in Atlanta somewhere in the 20s, so not too bad, in the upper 20s. This warms up rather quickly. These are actual contour temperatures. So by Sunday morning, the 0 line is way up here, and then by Sunday afternoon, it's above freezing throughout this whole area and in the 40s in many parts. And then by Monday afternoon, well, there's a new batch of cold air, but definitely milder conditions move in. So if we look at the U.S. forecast, here's the weather map, for example. By Tuesday morning, high pressure has moved off to the east. There's a southerly flow here, another front coming through the middle part of the country. Not real strong, but some precipitation. Kind of falls apart. And the next real weather event could be at the end of next week, about a week from now, where a storm could be moving up into the northeast. Will this be the one that gives them snow in these snow drought areas along many areas in the northeast? It remains to be seen. The details on this are too detailed. It does show coastal development forming off this low, but we're starting to get out past a week, so we will not go any further. If we stop at 10 days, which is about as far as I'll allow it to go. If we look at total accumulated precipitation, most of it is through this region, some precipitation down through Florida and throughout the east over the next 10 days. West Coast, not that much. If we look at the official Hydrological Prediction Center for the next 7 days, it looks like this. So precipitation, California, generally north, central, northward along the west coast. And you can see the wet areas here off the coast, and might get enough of an easterly flow into southeast Florida to bring some decent rains along the coast there. But notice Fort Myers, hardly anything. So it's an East Coast event. I had a fellow meteorologist send me a few pictures. I haven't looked at these in real detail, but it has to do with hurricanes and climate change and that. And 2022 is actually the, let's see, sixth lowest since 1980 as far as, this must be using ACE index, global, yeah. So in other words, he's trying to make the point that hurricane seasons, he shouldn't say hurricanes, but are not getting stronger. And then the next one, second weakest hurricane season. Actually, this is the ACE index. It was fairly low last year. Obviously, we had one storm. And then as far as strong storms, this is looking at the fourth fewest strong storms, I guess category 3 or more. Last year and the year before and the year before that actually have not been very busy seasons, even though we've had a lot of named storms a couple of years ago. It doesn't mean that the cyclone energy for those added up to much. So just a few thoughts on hurricane seasons, which is coming up shortly. 3 months if you're in the Pacific, Eastern Pacific, 3 months in a few weeks. Webcam of the day, we'll go to the deer pantry. This is on YouTube, by the way, in Maine, Brownville, Maine. Winds are 28 miles per hour, temperature 4 degrees below zero. And this guy feeds the deers during the winter from mid-December, and I forget when he stops, but let's see, beginning of April, so through March. And they're having a real feast there. There's another view, which is kind of neat, which is a camera right on the feeder. So you get close-up views of deer if you enjoy that kind of thing. Anyhow, that's really it for today. You have a good Friday. We'll be back tomorrow with another update. Take care.